Hey everyone, this is Clossi and I am back with another video. This video is another AGA City League game that I played. My opponent is a 5-don and I am taking the Blackstones here. So let's begin. I've been going back to the Komakus lately, as you can see here in this opening. I've been kind of trying to solidify my play rather than go crazy with a big moyo or something, and trying to focus a little bit more on territory nowadays. So that's why I'm playing this opening right now. Okay, and my opponent plays the wedge. Nowadays, it's more common to kind of do this, and then you can play this type of Joseki. This would be more common than this move. This is kind of old-fashioned, I guess, or I don't know. But I don't. When I play white against this opening, I prefer the approach because I like black getting this move. I think this move is too good for black. It takes away white's 2-space extension, so white has to extend this way now, which he did in the game. Another wedge is here, and in this case, you can even just go here, make a Shamari here, and then black will extend this way. The idea is to take away the 2-space extension. Or you could go this way. And this would be another way to play it. But this is with this wedge. With this one, playing on this side is a little small, so this one's definitely the right way. And I played this to enclose the corner almost all the way. There's still some AGA like here and here and here. But this, I think, is the ideal move on this side to take away white's base, then white makes a base. If you go here, yeah, I don't like how open it is. I prefer just having a Shamari as is. This one would not be good enough because then white could just play here, and white still has Miai to take a 2-space extension on both sides. So that's why I played this one. Okay, he extends, make a base, and then I extend my Shamari. Basics tells us that we want to do the open corners first usually. But I don't know. I was kind of feeling like I kind of like developing my own positions first, as long as my opponent's not getting too big when I am black. When I'm white, I usually go for these types of moves first before extending my own position because I feel like black has a slight advantage. Of course, white has Komi, so naturally it's still even. But when I'm playing white, I play a little bit faster, and when I'm playing black, I like being more solid, so I extended for my Shamari first. And that's why I chose this move. Both are fine, I think. And white makes the Chinese opening. And I continue to build my position while peeping his corner. He secures it. The reason I did this, even though it looks like it might be a thinky move, because white's getting more than black, is I'm worried that later white might get this type of move, and now the corner is looking pretty large. And I thought, why let my opponent have this type of exchange when I can just go ahead and build my position on the bottom now and do it this way. And it's still open right here, so it's not as big as it looks. And so I went ahead and got the exchange because I thought it was worthwhile. For example, it's kind of like white played here, and to stop the extension, black played here. Except now black gets Sente out of it. So that was my thinking in it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that was the reason I played this way. No, that's not what I played. Yeah. So now I approach the top left corner. And he plays this move. This move is sort of special. You don't want to normally play this move, but in this case, the idea here was he's trying to make black flat on the top side and build his moyo on the left side. So that was his thinking with this move. I don't know enough about this move to say if it's good or bad, good or bad. But yeah, that's the reasoning that white played that move. And I don't know. I think it's fine, I guess. I mean, I would probably play something like this. But his move's definitely fine. It's completely fine. But that was the reasoning he played this. Normally, this is a bad move. Normally. But in certain situations, it become a good move. And I think in this situation, it's fine. But I wouldn't play this move often unless you have a reason for it. In this case, the reason is to make the top side flat. Okay, so I play the normal first response. And I dive into the corner. Then white cuts me off. And this is actually a bad, kind of a big mistake. I don't know. For around my level, I think this is a big mistake because this is wrong direction of play. So the right Joseki is here, and it builds the moyo, right? So this idea looks much better for white than what happens in the game. And what happens in the game, white goes this way, and I start taking the left side, and then he makes his position solid, secure, and then I just come out with this move, and now the stones are not working together. So I think white lost out a lot here, because all of the whites on the top left and the bottom left are no longer working together, and if they're not working together, the position's going to be very difficult to develop because they're only their own single things and they're not developing as a whole, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I thought this was really good for black. So now I feel like black has a definite advantage, even if white has Komi. Then he plays here. He played here because he's worried about black getting this type of stuff. And then maybe something like this and developing the top side. Or even just like this. He was worried about black developing the top side and getting cramped and whatnot. So that's why he played here. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't know. I think the whole situation is bad for white because I do want to spend a move here to finish the position, but at the same time, I want Sente. And of course, I'm the type of player who likes getting to places, the big places first. So, especially with white. So as white, I think I would probably Tanuki here. I don't know if I would respond to this. But it is a big move to respond to locally. So I won't say anything bad about this move. I'll just say that it's the idea about it is to secure the top position so that way there's no AGA left. Well, not really anyway. It's really secure, it's completely live, not attackable, and it secures the top position so black can't really do anything to it anymore. That's the idea of this move. I think that's fine, but I think just in general, since the direction of play was wrong, everything up here is going to look bad for white. But now I take my Sente and I go to play a big move. And white plays right here. And so he was developing the last open side. But personally, I thought this was not fast enough because I think the bottom right is the biggest area on the board and bigger than anything else. So I kept developing it with this exchange. So as you can see now, black's definitely developing very quickly in the bottom right, and the top is still open around this area. Of course, I gotta watch the Shamari. The Shamari is getting a little weak here because it's getting surrounded, but I felt my Shamari is really strong, and my top right or bottom right corner is very, very large. So even if I get attacked on the top right, I thought if I can deal with it, the bottom right is worth any points I lose on the top right. So that was my idea for this exchange. I'm ignoring the top right corner, weakness and AGI, so I can build it bottom right. And so I'm definitely trying to take control of the board with this exchange in this way, because I think I'm leading in this situation. White seems to agree that the bottom right is very large, and now he's saying it's time to do something about it. I personally think he should have done something about it now, before this move. Because I don't think this move's big enough. Because it's not Sente. He can't do any major damage in one move. So I think he should do something now. like maybe here now or something. Maybe here. I don't know. But I think this move's too slow. I think the bottom right's bigger. So that was my strategy here, and now white comes in. So I spent a lot of time reading this area here now. We both had 60 minutes on our clock, so we had plenty of clock time. And whenever I see a situation where I can attack my opponent, I'm usually very happy because I love attacking my opponent. So in this situation, I read for a while and tried to figure out the best way to take advantage of my opponent. And from what I was reading, the eye shape he can make in this area is actually boils down to maybe one eye. I also counted the board, and even if I lose this area right here, as long as I'm controlling the situation on the outside and whatnot, black has enough territory to deal with it because I have the bottom right corner, the top, some in the top right corner at least for a base, right? The top left corner and some over here, plus influence because I'm going to be surrounding them, right? So, and white only has the top left because this is still open, and the bottom left is basically his only big territory. Since I'm attacking white and if I reduce them small, I felt like I had a little bit more solid territory. I just have to be very careful with it, right? The other thing I noticed was on the right side, this white group is not completely alive. There's definitely some AGA to be had here. So no, I got that information from reading out different variations and judging the board, counting the board, and spend a good bit of time trying to evaluate the situation and come up with a plan of attack. So here was my solution. My solution was this move to kill all the AGA on the right side and keep white in danger because I have so many stones around. I just needed to kill the AGA that he was going to use against me or use to gain shape. So I killed. This was my decision. I don't know if it's right or not. I'm just trying to explain my thinking here. So he came out. I think this is an okay move because he doesn't want to be next to thickness. He wants to start spreading out and playing some sabaki. So I thought this was an okay move. My move, I played here to try and keep white surrounded. I didn't really see another way to do that effectively while keeping good shape. And if I do something crazy like this, it really doesn't seal white in. So I think this was the simplest way to keep white under pressure. And also my thinking was to push white up and to the right to kind of get this double attack off because I noticed that this group was weak, as I mentioned before. So you can see that's my thinking here is to keep white surrounded and push them this way so I can do a double attack. Okay, so white makes a shape here. I kind of expected this. Like I said, I didn't really count this as points yet because I figured white would try to live in here. So I thought it was fine. From what I read, it was only like one eye, maybe 1.5 eyes at the most. Yeah, all this was expected. And then he came up, and I was actually kind of waiting for this move to get this move because I thought this move was ideal for creating the double attack. I kind of thought this was like the vital points for both because white can just push and then threaten to cut, and then these two stones might get cut off, and I didn't want that. And at the same time, this move also gives me some follow-ups, takes white's shape and base, and now his eye shape's getting really bad. And of course he comes out thinking, oh yeah, my other group has a base, this one doesn't have any eyes or eye shape yet. So I'm going to come out. And now I start my double attack, so take the eye shape, force him out. Okay, now I start surrounding, get these moves off, and this was a nice move. He didn't connect like the average player might. This is actually a mistake because it creates really bad shape. I can easily just come out right here. I can even, just the tar right here is even good enough, so that way I can get an attack like this. I can even get more forcing moves here, like this, and then push them up or do something crazy like that, right? There's many things that check out here, and this move just makes shape instantly. I'm not going to do this because that's just terrible, because now everything's fine, or maybe not like that. Like that, like that, like that. There you go. That's what I meant. And now everything's fine, right? Definitely don't want to take that stone, so this is a good move for making shape very quickly. So now I still need to keep his shape and keep up the double attack, so the move I chose was this one. I thought about a Hane, but I didn't like white getting forcing moves and making shape with his groups, so I just played a Nobi. And now both groups still don't have proper eyes, so I'm still getting my double attack off, and that was my thinking with this move. Not sure if it's correct or not, but yeah. I think I'm doing pretty well so far. I'm still getting my attack. The variations kind of went like sort of how I planned, so I can get this double attack off. And now that's coming to fruit, I guess, or whatever the expression is. So white tries to issue a counterattack, which is, one might say it's a good idea to try and it's good fighting spirit. I'll say that it's good fighting spirit to try and not just play like your opponent expects and like your opponent wants. Try to find some way to counterattack to make it difficult, so that way you can take advantage of the weakness to live, and that's exactly what white is doing here. The problem is white's leaving this really weak group over here, and I take advantage of that shortly. I think I should actually attack now. This is, I think, is what I should do immediately. And if white comes out, then send him out and get this double attack off like this. I think this is what I should have done. In the game, I responded here first because I didn't want him to have shape on his group so easily. And when he lived in the corner, I forced this exchange. And so now I'm still getting my double attack off, but as you'll see shortly, my idea is I can give up this and attack this. If I kill this, it's huge. So I expected white to run away with this in this variation we're about to see at some point, and then I would just attack both sides, and both my groups would be alive because his groups are too weak to actually kill anything, and I only have one weak group, so I thought it was easy to deal with. But if white chooses to just attack this and says I can live with this, then I shouldn't have added so many stones to this group before making it, pushing it near death, or possibly completely to death. I should have played the variation like I said before. When he first went in, I should immediately attack this and deal with the group later. Because if he just kills it now, okay, I don't care. Now it's going to be you have to live, and I still might be able to live in the top right? So I should have left the 2 stones there for AGA instead of making them heavy first and then playing away before they live. I should have just left them as 2 stones. But now I made them heavy, made them more valuable. But yeah, I think the order that I played was a little off. But still, I go here, and at this point, I'm considering giving them up if I can get 2 moves on the bottom right, or to this white group right here, because attacking this white group is really huge, especially since he might die. And remember, I had already read that this is only 1 to 1.5 eyes. So if he's completely surrounded, it's going to be a really big issue for him to try and live. It's definitely a risk, though. So I was going to make this as hard as possible. I was going to make the shape here as hard as possible for white to kill. So let's get into my move. I played here first, and white played here. I was expecting white to play here, and then I was actually going to come out here and keep up the 2 weak groups and keep my group sort of alive. And this was the idea, to come out and keep white completely split, cut off, down to like less than, like, the eyes on these 2 groups are so little. This is only like half an eye right now, because I can still make that a false eye, right? So the eye shapes on both of these groups are so bad right now, and I only have one problem. And I can even, later I can even play right here, and this is not alive. You have to play one more move to live. So I was looking at attacking this stone, getting some shape to come out, and attacking both groups at the same time. But then white played this move, and then the idea occurred to me that that group was not as big as the urgent stuff, because that group's only, it's urgent to try and fix and help it, right? But it's not as urgent as the bottom right. He's ignored me so many times, and I have so much strength around here. So I made, I guess you could say, a gamble that said, okay, if you're going to attack me, then I'm going to get super solid and attack your other group. And so I made a gamble that I was going to attack this group and gain enough profit to make up for the top right corner that I just lost. This gamble may be a mistake. I probably should have still come out here first before just giving up the group, because the path I take is very risky. Now, granted, it pays off very well because I do a very good attack here, but the risk probably outweighs the fact that I won the game because of it. So I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure, but in the game, I trusted myself to attack this group hard enough to make up for the top right, so that's what I did. So I think my fighting spirit here was pretty good, or my, I guess fighting spirit. My willingness to have confidence in my own abilities to attack the bottom right. So I like this idea. I think it's a really interesting idea, and it makes for a very fun go game, very interesting go game. It's definitely risky, though. I would not recommend this type of play normally because the risk is very high. I have to make up a lot of points for this. So according to basics and basic strategy and stuff, this is probably the better way to play. This is the more fun way to play, but I wouldn't recommend it. But that was my thinking in the game, that I'm going to attack the bottom right. And of course, I follow up my plan very strongly. And he fixes because he has to. His liberties are very bad. And now I issue my attack. All right, so now it's a life and death problem. This cannot escape. No escape. Right? So now it's a life and death problem. White to live. So we go into the game. I start taking the eye shape. He starts making eye shape. Yep. And he plays here. And then I do a lot of reading and take the eyes. Bam, dead. This is only one eye. If white plays right here, I play right here. White plays right here. That one eye. If white plays right here, I play right here. One eye. If white plays right here, I play right here. He plays right here. One eye. No way to make two eyes. So I definitely got my reward for giving up the top right. So my risk definitely paid off. But it's definitely a huge risk. In this case, though, it paid off, and I've practically won the game now because this is huge. Now, I say won the game, but it's pretty much a winning position. I just have to follow it up. Because if white starts nuking now and starts trying to make points to make up for what he just lost, I'm only about 15 points ahead. Now, granted, 15 points is a lot of points. It's pretty much victory as long as I don't make any huge mistakes. I should win this game. And I am confident that if he tried to play out the rest of this game, I would win. White also felt that at our level, that this amount of point difference is too big. If this dies, it's going to be game over, and there's no way to come back. So he tried his best to come out and live because he thought it was the only thing to do. He didn't think Tanukiing was big enough. Either that or he didn't think about it, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he at least considered giving it up and counted and all that good stuff. But yeah, when you die majorly like this, before just resigning outright, count the board, evaluate it, see who's actually ahead. This bottom right corner is huge, no doubt about it. But remember, I gave up the top right corner, and the top side is not invadable anymore. So that's a lot of points in the top and the top right, and then he has points in the bottom left. I only have points in the bottom right and a little bit in the top left. The bottom right's huge, though, so I'm definitely winning this game if you count the points, but only by a bit. And it's still possible at this stage in the game, because there's still a lot left unplayed, to possibly make a comeback. It's just going to be extremely difficult and highly unlikely. If you think that if this was a tournament, for example, I would say give up this group and play it out. If you resign, you're going to lose no matter what. If you play it out, you're probably still going to lose, but it's not guaranteed like resigning is. There's maybe a small chance you can win. always go for that small chance of victory if that chance exists. And in this case, I think a small chance does exist. But once you get to like the stage where the chance disappears, then yes, it's respectful to resign and not play out a lost game. This case, though, if you count the board, the point difference is only about 10 to 15 points, probably. So if you think that there's a slight chance, maybe a 10% chance, maybe even 20% if my opponent, depending on what level you are, chance that I can win this game, then you need to fight for it. Because if it's a tournament game and the win losses matter, or money's riding on it, or something like that, then you've got to try. And at this point, I would say give it up right now and go ahead and play the rest of the game. If you play like this, then you're investing in the even more points into this area. This is not the way to play if you're going to try and finish the game up by playing the rest of the game. This is saying I'm going to finish the game right now because I'm going to try and get out. If this dies, I'm going to resign. That's what this move says. So naturally, I have to keep him dead. And then he tries to come out. Okay. And he plays here. I considered connecting, but what you need to note is this cut works. Because if I try to say, oh, no, it doesn't, I can go here, and then I have double Atari, right? Well, the problem is this might make the eye shape he needs. Because if I take these, okay, what if he goes like right here? Okay, the eye shapes becomes questionable because I can't just play like right here. Oh, that's alive. Can't do that. Okay, so I have to respond like this, right? Well, then I Atari. Well, now it becomes an issue because I can just take right here. And then issues come about, basically. I guess now that I look at it, it's still manageable. White's still dead, even if he gets this. In the game, though, I saw possibilities, and I thought there is no reason to have those risk there, or to have that risk there. So I'm just going to completely secure my group at the cost of 3 stones, because if that gets out, it's game over. I can't win if that gets out. I gave up 20 points to invest in that. So I said I'll give up 3 stones and secure my life and make sure you secure your death, basically. Make sure there's nothing here. That was my thinking. And then he takes the 3 stones. And remember how I told you before that I'm only like 10, 15 points ahead? And that there's still a chance White might try and play the rest of the game out and try and make a comeback. So I played over here to say I'm going to take Sente first because you can't kill me anymore. I spent a move to secure my life, and I'm going to Tanuki and go ahead and keep my lead and play a big move, so that way your chances at making a comeback diminish so much more, and this game is pretty much guaranteed victory for me. Almost guaranteed anyway. What I should have done is take the stone. Now it's pretty much guaranteed victory. Even if he does this, I can reduce the top. There's no way he's going to make enough points. I can even come in on the left with something like this and make a moyo. There's no way he can win this game as long as I play properly. But I counted, and I started worrying about my opponent trying to make a comeback, and so I played a big move, and I kind of got overconfident. This is a huge, huge, huge mistake that nearly cost me the game. I undervalued him saving the stone. Because I come out here, of course I can just connect here, but as I said, I was worried about the points. I didn't want that top area to become a lot of points. That would just be difficult to reduce. And that might start making a comeback because the point difference is only like 10 or 15 points. Well, there's the 10, 15 points right there. So I had to come out. And then he cuts me off. Well, now I definitely can't cut. That's a self-Atari. But at this point, I was still thinking I'm fine because I just Atari and you connect and then I'll come out. I'm completely fine. But he turns this into an annoying ko that's suddenly becoming a very risky ko for me. I cannot win this capturing race. If I lose the ko, I'm probably going to die. Granted, I have a lot of co-threats. So even here, I started seeing the risk. I'm like, oh, this is becoming very risky for me. But every move is pretty much a co-threat, so I think I'm still okay. The problem is, it shouldn't have even been a co. There should have been no problem to begin with, so I should have just taken the stone. And then there's nothing I can do. Then I'm dealing with, oh, my opponent has to catch up a lot of points instead of my opponent has to kill me. And this is starting to become a possible death because the liberties on this are very bad. And the ice shape on this is very bad. So it starts becoming a really heavy risk for me. Now, it's still Black's advantage. Black still has a really big advantage because White has to make so many co-threats in order to kill this. But it's riskier than it should have been. All right, so let's go along with the game. White hunted here, and of course I'm not going to submit easily, so I no-B up to get shape. I get eyes, White takes the eye shape, and then I cut here because White has bad liberties. So of course I'm going to counterattack, just like he tried to counterattack me over here, I'm going to counterattack his weakness here. And try and make shape by attacking his weakness. And that's what I do here, and I'm keeping the liberties in mind. There's a lot of things you have to worry about here, but as long as Black does okay, it should be okay on liberties. The problem is if I get completely surrounded and I don't make more liberties than this entire group, because this entire group is huge. And of course, there's this co right here. A lot of things to think about. So White is trying his hardest to kill Black and win the game, because now the entire game's riding on this fight. So White comes out right here, Black gets right here, White comes out, and it looks like I can kill Light here, but not quite. Not quite. Don't have enough liberties yet. So I come out first. Then he attars right here. I take the co and start the co fight. Now, I could have taken it before, but at each move I was thinking, if I take the co now and he gives up the co, he might make points. Yeah, I'm probably being very stingy, and this is probably not a good way to play. I'm probably being very stingy with points, but I was legitimately thinking that White might be able to make a comeback if he got too many points on the top side. This is just too much of a risk for me to do, because I kind of got cocky in the fact that every move's a co-threat, and I was thinking there's no way he can make that many co-threats. So I was kind of getting cocky in the fact that he has to make a lot of co-threats. It's still pretty risky, though. I think it's just an unnecessary risk. I should have just taken the co. I should have just taken the stone in the first place. That's the original mistake. So I might have been a little cocky here that my opponent doesn't have enough co-threats, but it ends up becoming really close, as you'll see later in the game. So this is definitely too risky for me to keep doing. But now I start fighting the co-fight because I figure, oh, I've reduced enough points. Now the entire game's riding on this co-fight, for sure. So, of course, he fights the co. I come out, he does this, I take the co. Okay, yep. And every move, I'm threatening to kill something, and he still has to try and take my liberties. So, every single move, he has to threaten to do something huge, threaten to live, threaten to come off, something, right? So, I'm pretty confident I'm going to win this co at this point, but it becomes more and more difficult because White just keeps getting more and more co-threats. I take the co. He tries to live. I take the co. I go here. He starts taking my liberties. And around this move, I'll start seeing how many co-threats White has, because he has all of these that you're about to see. He has these pushes. He still has this take. And then he has all these threatening moves to threaten to capture me. Or, sorry, not that. I don't know. I just saw like 1, 2... 3, this one, 4, 5, then possibly some more over here, 6, maybe 6 or 7 co-threats. And I started to see if I even had that many moves in the board. And it just, I don't know, it started becoming a little too close for comfort. And it was an uncomfortable co. Even if I still have the advantage, I felt uncomfortable in this co. I felt like White just has a lot more threats than I expected, and I'm starting to feel a good bit uncomfortable. And I take the co. White Taste of place co-threat. And at this point, I'm reading how to make threaten to make eyes. How many liberties do I have? And I was looking at this attachment, and I was looking at this. I'm looking at seeing if I can make this come into play by taking the liberties. And when I was reading a variation through here, I started noticing that these liberties could start becoming short. So I looked for this move, which was a co-threat, and I was thinking, okay, I'll go use all my other moves as co-threats while threatening to live after I use this one, and this one is a co-threat on these stones. So I wanted to play this co-threat first, get these peeps in, and then come back and go to the top, because right now I'm threatening to kill these 5 stones, which are cutting stones. And that was my thinking here. I was going to do the co-threats on the outside and then come back on the inside and do all these co-threats, and I'll probably still win the co that way, but at this point, white actually fills the co. I was honestly surprised when he played this during the game, but all I could say is he didn't read this out. He thought my co-threat was false, and it wasn't, because I get this Atari, which is guaranteed, and then this double Hane, and I think he just didn't see this double Hane. I think he saw me going up, and then him going up, and then maybe me Hane, and then him throw in or whatever, and like this. And this is 4 liberties. He has 4 liberties. So even this, white's still dead. But I think it's somewhere, or maybe a throw in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's still 4 liberties. Yeah, I don't know. But obviously he misread this. He miscounted the liberties, something. But after I get this double Hane, he paused and realized that he did not have the liberties to do this. He couldn't do this. And he plays this, I play this, and he resigned. So yeah, this was definitely a fun and interesting game. I really thought it was interesting because of the sacrifice at the top right to get this massive attack that ends up killing the white stones. And I thought I played this game very well. I thought I did very well this game. Aside from this move, which created way too much risk for me, I should just take the stone, keep my lead with no weakness, and then just win the game from there, slowly but surely win the game from there, because I'm so far ahead. As long as I don't make any major mistakes, I'm going to win this game. I have thickness, I have points, I'm controlling the board. There's just no way I should lose this game as long as I don't make any big mistakes, which I would call this. This was me trying to say I'm going to get enough territory so you can't make a comeback, but this would be the big mistake that this prevents. As long as I don't make big mistakes, then I should win, and that's what this was. It nearly cost me the game because this became way too risky. It was just too much of a risk. But I thought, other than this, I thought this game was very well played by Black, and I thought I did pretty well here. So I'm pretty happy about this game, and I was happy because if you saw the previous video, I was playing a 5-dan, 6-dan, and lost that game. So I was going into this game with a loss, and I was thinking, oh, it's a 5-dan. And I'm only 4-dan AGA, granted. So I was thinking this is going to be a really difficult game, even if I'm black this time, which I usually prefer black because I feel like black has more control of the game. Even though white has Comey, I feel like black has more control, and I like playing as black. It's what I prefer. So I was going into this game thinking, even though I'm black, I'm still going to have a really tough time. The opponent's going to be really difficult, and I just got to do what I can do and see how far I can get. And then I ended up winning, so I was feeling pretty happy. I was doing pretty. I thought did pretty well this game. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. It was definitely hard fought, a lot of life and death reading for sure, because I had to read all these liberties. I had to. I counted the board, which probably was my downfall in this game because I assumed my opponent was going to do something he never even thought about. It looks like, because he just came out and said, "I'm going to base the whole game on this." But a lot of reading, a lot of life and death because I had to do the eyes and stuff. A lot of attack and defense. So I thought this was a really nice game. I was pretty happy about this game. And I guess I could show you guys real quick. Some of you might ask, what if black just does, or what if white just does this and then comes out? There's a throw-in or a snapback here, so that doesn't work. There's a throw-in here for ladder. then this connection only has 4 liberties. And 4 to 4, black plays first. So black wins by 1 liberty. All right, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I was pretty happy about it. I thought it was a fun game for sure. A little more riskier than it should have been, but I thought it was a fun game. And yeah, this will be my last video until I am in Korea. I leave for Korea in like 3 days, I believe, and I'm really excited about it. So keep an eye out for that. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. Facebook, Sean Ray, SHAWNRAY. Twitter is Clossi Sensei. Yeah, go to my YouTube homepage or my YouTube channel to look for links for those if you just don't feel like typing them out, or you can Google it, whatever, you can find it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this because I certainly did. It was fun, and I will be in Korea soon, so look forward to content from that, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.